St. James School in North Philadelphia is a school built on relationships between students, staff, and the community. But how can you maintain those relationships during a pandemic? How can you ensure students are learning, maintaining their mental, physical, and spiritual health, and staying connected to each other?
The doors may be closed, but that doesn't mean that we stop what we're doing. It doesn't mean that the gospel stops. The gospel keeps going.
When we founded St. James School in 2011, we knew we would have challenges. We never imagined that we would have to operate a fully functioning school and church in the midst of a pandemic.
Everything and nothing has changed at St. James since March. Everything has changed in the sense that we've had a worldwide pandemic, that we are working with students virtually, that we're using a lot more technology and a lot more screen time than ever. We're doing it remotely. We are taking all kinds of security and safety measures, and it's really impacted the time we can be face-to-face with children. That's all changed. What has not changed is we are still teaching and we are still learning. All right, good morning, everyone. Father Kellner, if you would please lead us in prayer. Our students have been very, very resilient, working and adapting. Our families have been incredibly patient with all of the changes and updates. And our teachers really deserve a shout out because they have been creative, they've been adaptable, and they've been very, very resilient.
I remember the week we had to close the doors and we moved virtual, we had a weekend and we met and we decided we needed to feed families on Monday.
Some kids are not even eating at home at all. And if they could come here and pick up a lunch or two to feed their siblings and everything, and the food is healthy food, and it's like a dinner. It's something that's going to fill them up and hold them probably overnight. So
we appreciate you coming in and cooking even in this pandemic.
It's my calling.
Food insecurity is a real thing here in North Philadelphia and with our families and with our neighborhood. But it's also about being able to provide a little bit of human contact, even though we're 6 feet from one another when we're trying to do it. It's about being able to smile through a mask and be able to look somebody in the eyes and check in with them. It's about being able to let them see Christ in you and see Christ in them and have that moment where you get to connect with them on a deeper level.
And then we started working on the academic program. And that led to a lot of innovation, a lot of use of technology, and not just virtual learning, but ways to communicate in new ways so that we can ensure that our students don't miss a beat. Because our students come to us severely behind. We moved quickly, and I'm happy to report that even during the pandemic, we're still teaching and learning and preparing our students to attend great high schools throughout Philadelphia.
I like to say that if you stood in a classroom and you were blindfolded, you would never know that right now the teacher is alone, broadcasting from their classroom while their entire class is at home.
For 8 years, I lived on campus in the community house with the other campus residents. And in August, I moved about 100 feet away to a neighboring house. We are a small part of North Philadelphia. I wanted to live someplace where I still had neighbors that I knew. My students are my neighbors. This is my home, and it made sense when I left campus to continue to live in my home. We are a school built on relationships. So teaching children on Zoom, for me, it works because they know me and I know them. And we've had a relationship for 1, 2, 3, sometimes even more years than that.
I put myself in their shoes. If I was a middle schooler, what would I want to learn in a music and an art class? I do a lot of surveys just to see what they're interested in learning. They take those very seriously because if they're going to own their learning, they're going to choose something that they would want to do. So I've got a lot of activities where I'm having them guess something, whether it's I'm going to play a song, guess the genre. We're able to have students do projects, and then once they present it for their peers, I just share my screen. They talk about whatever they created their project on, and they get to make them their own, so they're using their art and music abilities, and there's just like so much creativity happening.
It was very seamless once everything was set up, once the parameters were set up, once the Zoom was set up. It was absolutely seamless the way that we were able to interact and tutor the students.
In some respects, it's made us more effective as a board. It's much easier to come to a Zoom meeting than to drive from someplace around Philadelphia to get to a meeting at some rush hour scheduled time. So I think the board is actually working more effectively.
We share a lot of spaces here at St. James. We're in the process of adding a building, but it's not here yet. And so to create space that we can work more freely and be able to do all the things that we need to do and be on multiple Zooms at once, my office has moved to the back of the church over here, and it's just a folding table and with an extra monitor so I can teach my Zoom classes. This is my classroom. I teach from here. It's really great, especially with our fourth graders and some of our new fifth graders. They've never actually been in the church. So being able to teach from here has been able to help them connect with this space and be able to connect with the history of prayer and of worship here, and to be able to use the stained glass windows and all the different things that we have in the church as elements for our teaching and discussion with the kids.
Most kids are used to getting up, going to school, and the school has really tried to keep the norm as much as they could. And it's, besides them not actually leaving out of the house, it's been like they're in school. It's been good.
Through the pandemic, we identified some certain students that needed to be here rather than home. We do have 10 to 15 students, a combination of current students and graduates that we've decided, along with their families, that they can learn better here than they can at home.
There's a really big smile under this mask because St. James is a magical school. We eat as a family. So we're a really small school with really close relationships with our students. But in a non-COVID world, pretty much what I'm doing is I'm providing trauma-focused therapy to a lot of our students that attend the school, in addition to also giving support to our parents. Not only are our students affected by trauma every day, right? Some of the things that they see and witness in their community has a long-term effect on them. And all of a sudden you have COVID-19 that came out of nowhere, where unfortunately it's killing African Americans. How we typically do therapy is face-to-face and hands-on. Just make sure that we're building a relationship. So what COVID did was it took away that intimacy between me and another student, and now I'm having therapy sessions via virtual. Therapy is very confidential, right? Especially when you're talking about trauma work. And it's possible that the trauma for that student could be in the room.
And what's changed is that instead of having all of these bright and happy kids coming in and out of the office, if I want to be one-on-one, the parent has to bring the child to the school now for an appointment with me, or I do more case management and telehealth. In terms of relating to kids, I'm still having kids come to campus today for the dental van that's scheduled through the Wellness Center.
With having it right here is convenient, because they were supposed to be going to the dentist, but the dentist, it said if it wasn't urgent, then they didn't want them to come in. So we got to actually let them come to an actual dentist and get their little normal checkup.
I think at St. James, I like to say we're resource rich, we're small, we have a lot of resources, and our best resource is the people. We got the great people, they're making it work. It is absolutely hard and draining. It's also absolutely the right thing to do. And I've challenged our staff numerous times to say, if we can't do it here, in a small school with 85 children, and the resources that we have, then God help the bigger schools, the school districts that have fewer resources and are trying to do this on a much, much larger scale.
Next time, join us in New York City as we visit Episcopal Service Corps fellows who have been called to serve with the New York Service and Justice Collaborative. We'll see how these young people, with the help of their leaders and supporters, pivoted during the pandemic to honor their ministry among their neighbors.